Hey guys, it's D. Anyone can find anything on the internet these days. That's the sad truth, including your full legal name, your personal email, home address, phone number, and even your relatives. This information is accessible because of data brokers who profit from selling your information to robocallers, telemarketers, spammers, and anyone else that wants to learn more about you. That's why I'm excited for our sponsor today, Aura. Aura will identify these data brokers that are exposing your information and automatically submit opt-out requests on your behalf. They'll even opt you out of junk mail and telemarketing lists. You can use our link, aura.com/teamhouse, to try 2 weeks for free and see how many of those data brokers out there are really sharing your information. You can also find the link in the description, or you can scan the QR code right in the screen. Aura also monitors your emails and passwords to see if they were involved in any data breaches exposed in the dark web. And if they were, they give you recommendations on what to do to take care of it. This is the best part. Also, Aura's app also features a VPN, password, real-time credit and identity theft monitoring, internet parental controls, and protects your devices from malware. Aura has almost every single internet safety tool you'll ever need inside of one app. So let Aura do the hard work of keeping you safe online. If you sign up right now with Aura, we'll give you a 2-week free trial with our link. You really will be shocked at how much of your personal information Aura finds exposed over these next 2 weeks. Go to aura.com/teamhouse to start your free trial today. You can also hit the link in the description of this video, or you can just scan that QR code. That's aura.com/teamhouse for 2 weeks free today. Thanks, Aura.
The Team House with your hosts, Jack Murphy and David Park.
In our unit at Dwyer Hill.
Okay, so you always had in your mind that you wanted to go to, Canada's most elite unit, and obviously jumped on that chance as soon as it came. Talk to us about like going to selection and kind of what that experience was like, trying to bump up to the next level.
Yeah, it was interesting and intimidating. Because in our unit, being light infantry and kind of the type of soldiers that were there, there's insanely fit, driven, hardworking, smart dudes. And you'd see every year, the 2 years that I was there prior to going on selection, guys would go and they'd come back a couple days later. Guys would go on selection, come back a few days later. And we're like, what the fuck happened? These would be the fittest people, the fittest people in battalion. So it's very intimidating. And we are disconnected kind of by distance, our unit being out in the east and the battalion I was in is in Alberta in the west. So it's just you didn't really hear much. We never saw them training anywhere, anything like that. So it was all just a big mystery. And we were just trying to prepare as best we could. Okay, let's be as fit as we can. Let's get good at swimming, and let's try and, have some kind of mental game going in. And that was about it. And we went to selection, and it's a 7-day selection. The initial part is 7 days. So back up. You have to do 2 years in. You do a physical assessment, psychological evaluation. And if those are both good and your chain of command supports it, then you can go do the 7-day selection. So they run a handful of serials depending on the year and how many applicants they get. But you just go and you fly out east here to Ottawa, and then it's game on with a bunch of craziness.
Can you tell us about, the craziness?
Yeah. So it's 7 days of testing a lot of different things, phobias and your psychological state and teamwork, and if you prepared physically. But most of it almost all comes down to just kind of your mental strength, how you can resist or push through adversity kind of thing. Because no matter how much you prepare, you're going to have to do more physically. It just doesn't stop. Let's say you do 250 push-ups in training, you're going to be required to do 260, and then see how you act and see how you respond, see how you work with the team. Problem solving and a bunch of things that might seem impossible, but how can you get it done? Just so many things coming at you all at once, and all while you're physically tired and while you're, sleep deprived, obviously, and all the other good things that come with doing it in Canada in the fall or early winter. So it's snow and ice and rain sometimes and all that.
So
Good fun. But it's just 7 days. And then when you finish, if you finish the 7 days, you have to wait a period where they kind of go through all the different, they assess everything you did. And then if you like fit the mark or whatever score for going on course, you get loaded on what we call our assaulter course.
And what was there anything, and you don't have to get into specifics because I know every unit likes to keep its selection process secret, but did you face any specific challenges during that course where you thought, wow, like, I don't know, or were you just there, I'm going to do it and just drive on?
Oh no, I thought I was fucking, even when I finished, I was like, there's no way they're going to pick me up. Like I fucked up so many things. There's zero chance that they're going to want this guy. I got like a knee injury through part of it. And it was really sore. And one of my strengths going in is like, I'm a tall, lanky guy and I trained a lot running. So I was like, I was a pretty decent runner. And then with my knee fucked up, it's like, oh no, there goes like my only strength. And I remember some of the runs, it was like at the back in the dark on some road. And they're just like, the ambulance is right behind me. And they're like, you just have a number. And I was number 10, but they're just like, just quit. What are you doing here? You think we want to be on your team? Just call it, hop in the truck, go home. You can come back next. Just all of this mental games the whole time. No, but luckily we were exposed to some cold and it actually helped my knee out a lot. And I was like back in the game.
So you finish the 7 days. To your surprise, you get picked up to go on the assaulter course.
Yeah.
And now what? I mean, you're like, this is living the dream, right? That you had from the day you enlisted.
Oh yeah, this was really cool. And to see like the collection of dudes that they selected from kind of all over the place, how smart and driven and fit everybody was. And everyone was already a great shot for some reason. This part I didn't understand because I'm just learning how to shoot a pistol for the first time. But we went and I think it was, I think at the time it was about 8-month course. Mm-hmm. And you're just learning all the assaulter skills. Like, you start off with the basics of shooting, pistol and a long gun. And then you're like how to move while you're doing that. And then into basic CQB, into advanced CQB with all the different crazy explosive entries and approaches and helo and fast roping and rappelling and all that stuff. And then there's a big green portion where you're out in the forest for a long period of time and, walking lots of miles, doing lots of kind of like more green military weapons or mobility stuff, with heavies on Humvees and stuff like that. And then just a lot of sleeping in the woods, sleeping in the rain. So all of that, they I can't remember it's like phase 4 or something selection they call it, where it's just like you're still being watched and selected for the whole time. So there's a decently high attrition rate with that course as well, the length and the difficulty, but also like you're being assessed the whole time. So if there's a concern that you might be unsafe shooting right beside somebody, you're not making good decisions, like that can catch up to you and you get tossed from course.
And you came right from the conventional infantry. Were there another, and forgive my memory lapse here, but there's another CAN-SOFCOM unit. What's the name of that unit?
CSOR.
Thank you, CSOR. Did you get a lot of guys coming through selection from there as well?
There was a few. There was a handful on my year. I think there's a lot more now, from my understanding. Cool. It's almost like it's a good kind of stepping stone to prepare guys. And you notice a big difference. Like on my course, those guys were all rock stars already with pistols and the tactics, and they had gear that looked really cool already and all that shit. I was like, oh man.
What is the military tradition for special operations in Canada like? Because and I'll say this because like in the United States, when we think of the OSS, we think that goes directly to like the CIA. We don't really look at it, like special forces as a child of that. But in Canada during World War II, you had Camp X, right? You had the OSS and the SOE train there. Do you guys carry that heritage at all, or did that more go to like your intelligence services also?
Yeah, I don't even know if they held on to it.
Okay.
But not to chirp them too much, but we definitely have. There was some people very interested in that history and trying to see what we could take from it in terms of lessons, and they had a pretty interesting fight program, to my understanding. And just so we implemented that stuff, but ours was like a mix of like guys from the Airborne Regiment once they got shut down, and then the RCMP hostage rescue it was like time to turn it into a military thing. So we got a lot of assistance and guidance from like the SAS in the UK. So it's like a cultural mix of all those things, sort of.
Okay, interesting.
And again, correct me if I'm wrong, but the unit also has a domestic mission too, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so we're like, if shit really hits the fan here, we train a lot for mainly hostage rescue stuff. Yeah.
And so you're going through the assaulter course. What was the most challenging part of the course for you?
For me, I would say if you were to look at my record after, it would be basic CQB. Was where I skated the line the closest to being tossed from course a few times. I really liked and enjoyed CQB and the training of it and the challenge and like getting faster, trying to get faster and faster and more precise with shooting and stuff. Sometimes that brought me like a little too close to the line of whatever would be some kind of safety thing and stuff. So yeah, I got dangerously close to getting tossed on basic CQB.
For guys who do like get tossed during the selection, are they invited to go back if it's not like a major violation?
Yeah, it depends. There's different criteria. And I don't even know what it is. I've never like worked on that particular course, but yeah, you can get because guys have to start over again all the time for injuries for one. And there's if there's just something you're just not quite picking up, you could be invited back. If it's something major or like attitude's a big one, if it's just you're absolutely a shithead to everyone, you'll probably get kicked off and not get invited back. But then sometimes that's also just the guy needs time to mature a little bit.
And you've eventually obviously graduate the course and make it to the unit. Take us through a little bit of what it's like showing up your first day in, Canada's most elite unit as the new guy.
Yeah, it was intimidating. We're